Hello and welcome back to my channel and my solo classic RuneQuest campaign. We are still in the Adventurers Guild. We'd had quite a number of trials and tribulations to get to this point. We have met the Guildmaster, Harkin Ethelbright. He is quite a stern fellow, although waxing a lot of charisma. Even though we are having to bite on our prejudices, the fact that he is a Solenic ex-centurion, the enemy in our midst. However, he has relented his duties with the Empire and has decided to throw his lot in with the ethos of the Adventurers Guild, which is we are all united against a common threat. So what I'm planning to do is really to continue with that situation. So I will hand it over to my my little narrator, and he will continue the story. So previously in the Adventurers Guild chapter house, we left the characters in the last session having completed a series of initiation tests and interviews for entry into the Adventurers Guild. This had finally brought them before the Guildmaster, Harkin Ethelbright, a Solenic veteran and leader of this chapter. They had been invited by him to survey a map which displayed the region around Dorwaith, and he pointed to a village 15 leagues to the east as the location of the first mission, which he has had in mind for them. To recap, this initial mission will provide a clear objective. It will introduce the characters to the immediate danger of chaos and sets the stage for their integration into the broader Adventurers Guild and the Great Vales War. What I'm saying is it's going to be a multiple session, multi-layered mini campaign, which will involve extensive investigation, exploration and adventuring and what I have called or labelled my version of an Apple Lane setup. So a little self-contained mini campaign coming up. But before that, the guild initiation process continues. Further trials. If they hadn't already realised it yet, they are about to be quickly informed of the situation. They still need to prove themselves and further trials await them. Oh dear, what could they be? So, before they have this mission explained, Harkin wants to see himself what the characters are capable of and assess what he can expect in terms of the challenge he is setting them. So, he still wants to see some evidence. We've had some interviews, some soft treatment, although the characters feel that they've had quite a grilling from that veteran taskmaster that they had to speak to. But obviously, the Adventurers Guild, they are looking for high standards, and Harkin expects nothing but high standards. So, the Guildmaster's invitation to the drills. The Guildmaster, a figure of stern authority, but with a glint of real experience in his eyes, paces before the newly joined adventurers. His voice, honed by years of command and the din of battle, cuts through any lingering whispers. So, you've chosen to stand with us. You've heard the call to fight chaos, and you've pledged your skills to the guild. Good. But words and pledges are wind without foundation. So, from out of the internal window, Harkin gestures towards a training yard, which they see is set in the middle of the guild house, and which they now realise is actually a hollow square of a building with a central courtyard. So, this is a hollow, basically it's a bit of a facade on the front. It's actually quite a complex, a large kind of quadrangle in the middle. A lot more extensive facilities. A bit of a TARDIS job, really, just on the kind of, just, you know, it's bigger on the inside than it is on the out. So, our first RuneQuest TARDIS He continues, "Here your reputation doesn't matter, only your blade, your wit, and your resolve. Before you face the true horrors that blight this world, you'll face us. Our trainers, our drill sergeant, they'll test your mettle. Your abilities will be weighed, your weaknesses revealed, and your strengths honed." He pauses, letting his gaze sweep over each adventurer. "Before we can gain glory, we must survive. Show us what you're made of. Prove you're ready." Okay, I think that's a call to arms from Harkin. He is a character not to be messed with. He is delivering the business for us. So let's continue on. The combat drills for the characters. So these drills will be run by a sergeant and his associate from the Adventurers Guild. They provide a controlled environment to practice a specific combat skill with immediate feedback on success or failure. Okay, seems quite straightforward. Harkin is observing from the perimeter of the yard area. He shouts, "Relish this opportunity. You might even learn something." He laughs, and it echoes around the stadium. We will assume all the characters are put through their paces and have extensive individual drills and simulations. But for our solo game, let's focus on a couple of our intrepid adventurers and see how they get on with the guild trainers. So what I'm saying here is that the characters as a group, all 5 of them, are put through quite a physical ordeal. A lot of weapon drills, a lot of practicing, a lot of hard physical effort. But what we're going to do is we're going to pluck out a couple of our characters and we're just going to do some little simulations with them. So the first, the melee weapon attack and parry drill. So we were introduced to the trainer. The trainer is a gruff, experienced drill sergeant called Caladan. He's a retired warrior from one of the conquered city-states. He is supported by his hill tribe associate, Imadril, a young, enthusiastic clan warrior, and quite similar to one of the nice hill tribe warriors on the front gate. He explains that the purpose of this session is to practice basic melee weapon attacks and parry defenses. The characters can use their chosen weapons, and Imadril will use his preferred broadsword and medium shield combination. So Imadril is going to be doing the heavy lifting. Caladan is going to be sitting back watching. Imadril is going to be doing the combat drills himself. No battle magic is allowed in this test, so that's the rule. No battle magic can be used. Full armor can be worn, so that's good. So that's all the characters are basically tooled up and all their stuff. They thought this would be an important part of their initiation into the Adventurers Guild, is to come along fully prepared. So they've got everything that they own strapped to their body and carrying weapon-wise. So they were quite a sight going through Doorwaith. Quite a little band. The goal is to land hits and successfully parry incoming strikes without taking damage. Great. Healing is on hand if something goes awry. So that is, if we get our head chopped off or something, maybe that's not going to help. Because this is going to be done with live. It's basically done with live ammunition. This the Adventurers Guild. None of this soft padded armor stuff and padded swords and whatever. Harkin, he really wants to see what our characters are made of, and so they are really put through a simulation that is quite a real simulation. So anything could happen in this. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Don't get any of the characters being beheaded. Each character performs a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5 rounds of combat with Imadril, and if he is incapacitated, his colleague Trantor, an older ex-mercenary who has seen many a conflict in his time, will take over. So that is the line of attack. And success looks like attack and parry with a successful roll under their melee weapon skill. Okay, so we're trying to get a successful attack and a successful parry during this combat. Feedback from the trainer will call out successes and failures. Critical successes or fumbles might earn a shout of praise or a gruff reprimand. So prepare for a bit of a shouting at. Ulvar is the most enthusiastic of our group, surprise, surprise, and is looking forward to showing off his natural martial superiority, or so he says. We can test Barntar next, and if we have time, Serana. I don't think we'll have time to get to Serana, but let's do Ulvar and Barntar. They should give us quite a bit of entertainment. Ulvar certainly is reasonably useful with his stuff, his broadsword, and funnily enough, they've all got quite similar weapon combinations. So. What I'm saying now is that we can get started on this phase. So what I've done in preparation for that is I've created a sheet which is hopefully going to help us perform this process. What I've got is I've got the guild training session 1. I've got Ulvar here, and I've got Imadril here, and then I've got a summary of what their hit points, their armor, and their hit locations are to the right. The prime statistics I need for this combat are I need a weapon, and they have a medium shield. They are both of the same persuasion when it comes to their weapon shield combination. So it's really just a case of just seeing who battles away the best in this conflict. However, what I'm hoping this will tease out, it will show you how the combat works. I've just actually uploaded. I'm doing some readings from the RuneQuest Classic Edition rulebook. I thought this might be quite a useful way for me to kind of listen to just basically the rules being read out. I sometimes find that an easier way to absorb things. So I've been kind of listening to this, and I thought, well, why not? Why don't I just share it with the world a bit, and upload it onto the with my channel. I did a similar thing with my Dungeon Master's Guide. Brian reads the Dungeon Master. I'm gonna have to resurrect that. I think I quite enjoyed doing that at the time. I think I'll get that cracking again. In fact, I'm very keen to do one of the the first in the Dungeon Master's Guide. There's a playthrough session. I'd quite like to play that out and narrate that. I think that might be quite entertaining. But back to the RuneQuest weapon simulation. We've got Ulvar. We've got his attacker parry, his strength, strike rank, the points of damage that his weapon can take, and his damage factors. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kick off and fight a minimum of 3 rounds, a maximum of 5. So we'll have round one. Get the bell going. Games are on. Round 1. And what we do first is we compare strike ranks. So the one with the lowest strike rank goes first. So we've got Imadril has a strike rank of 6, and Ulvar has a strike rank of 7. So Imadril will go first. So we'll do an attack with Imadril. And the way you attack is you use your attack percentage, surprise, surprise, and then you take away the opponent's defense bonus. So we're going to have 45 minus 5 for Ulvar. It's going to be an attack of 40% to hit. So he's going to need 40% to hit Ulvar with his first strike. Now, the way combat happens when you have 2 opponents together, you don't do any other form of activity because the 2 opponents are engaged with each other, and all their time's taken up with attack and defense. So you can't do other things like sheath weapons and all that sort of thing. That's more designed for people that are out with combat, or moving into combat. So if someone's trying to fire a bow at you, you will take into account all the things you're doing and create your strike rank. And that's probably better if I illustrate that. And I think that might be quite a good sort of tutorial. to do is to go through the different combat situations and say, right, okay, we'll do a straight on combat. And this is kind of what we're doing here with this drill simulation. But also I could do maybe, you know, someone's got a bow and they're going to fire at you as you charge, or someone's got some battle magic that they want to use, and they either want to cast it on you or they want to cast it on themselves, you know, something like blade sharp or something like that, and just see how that works with the strike ranks. You know, that's quite interesting. So that, I think that would be a good thing to do. We're obviously going to need some of these skills. You know, we're actually honing our own skills as solo players for pre this mini campaign that we're going to launch ourselves into. So we're going to need to be primed and ready. But this is our first little drill ourselves. So we're sitting taking notes. Let's see how Amadril does. He needs, we've calculated, he needs a 40%. So the first combat roll of the campaign, Amadril, he misses. So we'll put that down. He has a miss. And I will just get, I've got another thing where I just refer to this. Yeah, so he misses. And we're also, if we do get a hit, we'll register a hit and do that as a tick, because that means we're past the criteria. So he misses. In response to that, Ulvar has a chance to parry. So if we roll our parry roll, he needs a 35% to parry with his broadsword. So he's going to use his broadsword to parry. So he gets a 71, so he misses as well with his parry. So he misses. In fact, I should put attack there. And so it's now Ulvar's turn to attack. So he has an attack of 40. He takes off the defensive Amadril of 5, so he has an attack of 35. So let's see if Ulvar can do the business. 35%. 37, oh, just a miss. So he misses with his attack. He misses. And does Amadril parry. So he's got his broadsword, he's also got his medium shield, so he's going to try to parry with his. So he gets an 86, so he misses. So they're not really doing too well on it with his parry. We'll put a P there, and attack there, and misses with parry, and attack. Okay, so that's the first round out of the way. They're really, obviously they're being a bit cagey, maybe just some probing swings and parries and little pokes of each other. We're on to round 2. Now we've got Amadril again, and he goes first. I'll just get, there's a nice little summary that shows you what the results are. So if the attacker misses and the defender misses, there's no damage. If the attacker hits and the defender misses, the defender takes damage. If the attacker hits and the defender parries, the defender's weapon shield takes damage. And if the attacker misses and the defender parries, the attacker weapons take damage. So there's quite a nice little combination. And within that, there is the lurking chance of having a critical hit or a fumble. So if that happens, I will go red alert, and we'll be able to do that. And you'll be able to see that being actioned. So let's have Amadril again. He needs, we've decided he needs 45 minus the defense, 40. So he needs a 40% to hit. So he gets a 62. So that's a miss. So he misses with his second attack. That's not very good. And let's see if Ulvar parries and is able to damage his weapon. So 35. He needed a 35 to parry. So that is a success. So he parries. Yay! So that is a tick. So we get a tick there. meeting the criteria. So, you know, Ulvar is already, I'd say, semi-passed the test. He's got that. And also we can use that, I'm going to take a note as well, that we can use that for an experience roll that we can do. And probably what I'll do at the start of the next adventure is I'll just say, okay, from the last adventure or the last session, we had these experience chances. Let's have an experience roll and we'll see whether he can go up it with his parry, which might be a nice thing. I mean, you only do that once, you know, even if he does, that's the only parry he ever does in this combat. You just need one. So he has parried Imadril's blow. And what Imadril does is that he has a broadsword that's worth 20 points. So we have, what damage that we do with our broadsword is that we do 1d8 plus 1. And also Ulvar, because of his strength and his some of his physical ability, he has a damage bonus of plus 1d4. So we roll that and we reduce it from the 20 points. So let's find out what happens with poor old Imadril's broadsword. It's probably not going to be snapped at this stage because it's not like a critical parry or anything. So what do we need? We need a 1d4. Get my 1d4. 1d4 and 1d8. So let's see what Ulvar gets. So he does 2 plus 1, that's 3, plus 3. He does 6. So I will say that his he has a broadsword 20 minus 6. So he's now down to 14. Okay, right. Still plenty of life in the broadsword. It's not the end of the world for Imadril. He's just a bit fed up. He's thinking, oh, I'm going to have to get someone to do a bit of repair on this now. It's not too clever. Let's have Ulvar get his. He feels good. He feels on a bit of a high. He's got a nice successful parry under his belt. He's thinking, okay, what do I need? A 40 minus, I need another 35% will be the business. So he gets a 53, so he misses. He misses with that, with his attack. So does Imadril, does he manage to get a parry with 40%? He's got a better chance. No, he misses too. So Imadril hasn't really done anything at all. So he's not very pleased with himself. Anyway, on paper he's a better he's got the better skill. He's got slightly superior to Ulvar, but it's not really manifesting itself. So we'll go on to round 3. Now, if Ulvar manages to get a hit, that's game over, and what the sergeant will do is say, halt, you know, I've seen enough, but let's see how we get on. So we're going to have Imadril again. He's got the lowest strike rank, 45 minus 5, he needs 40 to hit. So let's see what he gets. 22, all right, so he does hit. So he hits with his attack. Okay, so that's important. What we do first is we try to work out whether Ulvar can parry that, because that will determine the outcome. Otherwise, we're into hit location territory. So the pressure's on Ulvar. He's got to try to defend himself. What's he going to get? He gets, oh, he does. He parries. So he does a parry. Which is great. So what does our little chart say? If the attacker hits and the defender parries, the defender's weapon or shield takes damage. So that's him. He's parried again. So he's doing a really good job with his parry. His weapon takes damage. So his broadsword, which is at 20, and we do realize that Imadril's got a 1d8 plus 1. So we get 1d8. We add 1. So he only does 2 points of damage against Ulvar's broadsword. So he's -2 equals, he's at 18. Okay. So at least Emadril feels a bit better. He's got a hit in. He's made connection. Ulvar has skillfully deflected the blow before it hit. Let's just see out of interest what location he would have gone for. We'll compare it. We'll see our chart. So what has Ulvar managed to parry? A 4. So it would have gone for his. Look. 4 would have been a 4 would have been his right leg. So he must have got his sword. Emadril was trying to go for a low hit, maybe for the abdomen or down, and Ulvar managed to just parry it before it did anything serious to him. Okay, well now he has a chance to attack. So let's have a look and see what score he needs. He has an attack of 40, -5. He needs 35 to hit. So he does 14. So Ulvar's done a great job. He attacks, he hits with his attack. So that's a tick. Okay, so that's a connection he makes. Does Emadril parry? So he's got a choice. He's using his broadsword, which is damaged, but he can still take a bit of damage, and his shield. So we'll go for the broadsword and see whether he parries. So he needs a 40% to do this. 94. Oh, it was almost a fumble. If it had been 96 plus, it would have been a fumble, a parry fumble. So he misses his parry. So this means we're into damage territory, isn't it? Everybody's going, yes, we're going to see some blood. Or maybe not, because he's got some armor, so we'll have to find out. So he misses his parry there. Okay, so we're into hit location territory. So let's get our little chart out and see what we're talking about for hit location. Everyone, as I said, gets a bit excited. There's the offending table there. D20 coming up. So Ulvar aims for the 14, and the 14 is his right arm. So his entire right arm. So I think his right arm has got his sword arm, so it's not going to be covered by his shield. So that's okay. It's really just going to be his armor. So I'll do hit location. Location is the right arm. And the damage that we do, remember he does 1d8 plus 1 plus 1d4. So let's see how much damage he does to Emadril. I think Emadril's going to feel the sharpness of Ulvar's blade. Oh my goodness! Oh dear! 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Oh dear! So he does 11 points of damage. Okay, and that's not looking too clever, is it? So what 11 points of damage does? So if I go up to here, his right arm is here, and what that means is that this means his armor, and this is his hit points. So he has 3 points of protection from his. So 11 points minus 3 equals, it does 8 points. So we take 8 points of damage to our hit points. So 15 goes down to 8 by 8 to 7. And also we take 8 points of damage to our right arm, which it's only got 4. So what that means is, it means we're going to have to get our healer out, I think, pronto. But we get a chance to look at the catastrophic injury result that Ulvar has now done. He's certainly shown his prowess I think Harkin's going to be quite impressed by that display. It's just been poor Amadril has had his, maybe potentially had his arm either completely incapacitated or where is it? Here we go. Right, notes on damage results. So it's not points equal or exceeded. It's arm or leg receives more than twice the points available. All right, so it's actually right on the margin. So it's not actually more than twice. If it had been a 9, 9 against his 4. So points equaled or exceeded in any one location. All right, so it's his arm. The limb is useless, and anything not attached to the arm is dropped. The character continues to stand and fight with whatever limbs are left to him. Okay, so the arm's out. He drops his sword. I think that's game over. So that's 0. I think when it comes to the hit points, so location receives 6 more points than available. A limb hit for 6 points more than it can take. Well, it's not in a single blow. That would have been a severing. It would have been severed or irrevocably maimed. So if a character with a 2-point arm is struck for 8 points, he only takes 4 points of damage. Okay. Well, I think it's basically timeout. So what's his name? The trainer, Caladan. He says, "Halt! Stop! Over! I've seen enough. You passed the test. However, we're going to have to get urgent medical treatment for Amadril. And he calls for one of the healers. There is on hand one of the healing cults, or the healing cult. There is a healer that can do quite a bit of healing on Amadril. So Amadril is taken rather incapacitated. And he's dropped. Someone, Olvar, picks up his broadsword and hands it to him and says, "You have fought valiantly. It was an honor being in combat with you." And Amadril is forced to put on a kind of a brave grin, although you can see him as utterly wincing in pain and he's almost passed out. So, based on that, the criteria is that Olvar's passed the test with flying colours. Within the 3 rounds, he's almost chopped Amadril's arm off. He's shown his ability to parry, his ability to hit. I'm just going to have to maybe do a bit more research on exactly how the damage works, but I think I've done that right. And we're on to the next combat. So, poor old Amadril. So he's obviously not going to fight. So we're going to have to get in Team B, which is Trantor. And we've got Barntar. So Barntar steps up and he thinks, all right, okay, anything Ulvar can do, I can do better. I'm a noble. He's just some barbarian from some nether region. I am going to show this guildsman, what a nobleman can do with his trusty broadsword. Now, unfortunately, Barntar's conception of himself is rather inflated because he's only got an attack of 25% and he's up against quite a skilled character here. So Trantor, he's a wily operator. He could maybe do a bit of damage to Barntar. He could maybe wipe the smile off his face. Let's find out. So we'll kick off on round 1. And the first thing we do is we find out who is got the lowest strike rank. And actually, interestingly, in this, Barntar's got the lowest strike rank. And that's down to the fact that he is fast and he is large. So he has a strike rank of 5. So he actually goes first. So what we're going to do is we're going to do attack of 25% minus 5%. He's only got a 20% chance of hitting. So it's not great. But we're with you, Barntar. What are you going to get? Oh, he does. So he gets a 12. So he attacks. So that is a hit with his attack. Okay. Right, so he has surprised Trantor already. Trantor's on the back foot. So what Trantor does is he tries to parry. So he's got a 35% chance of parrying. No, he doesn't. 84. So he misses with his parry. So Bantar's through already. You know, straight off the bat, he has penetrated Trantor. Is he going to do the same thing? Because he's got quite a hefty damage. Because he gets a strength bonus too. So let's find out exactly where he lands on this. That's a 4, and according to my table, 4 is the right leg. So he has his location, right leg. Okay, so according to my Trantor little chart, he's got hit points of 14, and he has, and his right leg here, he has 5 hit points, and he has 3 armor. So he's got this Kerbuli, or whatever it's called, as some greaves covering his leg. It looks as though it's going to have to come in pretty useful here. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll his damage, which is 1d8 plus 1 plus 1d4. So this is what's going to happen. We get, so that's a 1. Oh my goodness, that is a lot. That is 1 plus, that's 2, so that's 10 points of damage. So 10. Okay. Now, we know that he has armor of on his right leg of 3. So -3. So it's 10 -3. 7 get through. So this is going to incapacitate his arm. So he's on hit points 14. So -7. He goes down to 7. And he is incapacitated on his, so he goes down to 0 on that. And also we consult our table, because I think he's out the game. I think what Bantar might have done is he has basically, he's going to have to fight. I think he has to fight from the ground at a disadvantage, because and is it Bantar just going to keep on battering him? I think they're probably going to have to call this one off. So let's find out what happens with if you do that kind of damage. So the damage results. So the points equaled or exceeded in any one location. Okay. On the leg, the limb is useless and the character must fall, not doing anything else that round. He may fight from the ground during the following rounds. So there are some big disadvantages from fighting on the ground, because you can attack from advantage. So the attacker has a 20% chance, a greater chance of hitting an opponent, and also an attacker on the ground can never do more than his weapon basic damage without adds for strength and size, and the attacker on the ground has only half his normal chance of successful attack. Okay, I say what's happened is that I'm trying to remember the name of the chap again. What's he called? Kaladin says, "Stop, stop, hold on, Bantar. You have shown your prowess. That was quite a blow straight off the bat. I think we're going to let you pass. We're going to have to give some again more urgent medical attention for Trantor. He's basically collapsed on the ground. He's fallen over. He can't get up. He's saying, right, stop it. I need to get the medic. So we call on the flustered healer again, and she's going, oh my goodness, what you boys, Well, you should use some padded weapons next time. So, maybe it's a bit over the top, this, and the fact that they're using these sharp blades and whatever, and we're getting all these grievous wounds. And I suppose in a normal combat simulation, in a kind of drill thing, they probably would use padded swords and whatever. But I think the point of Harkin was he wanted to really test the characters, and he knew that short of some terrible freak accident, no one was going to be severely maimed and murdered or killed in this encounter. So I think that's what that's done, is it's shown the combat off at a basic level. I think there's one nagging thing, is I just want to completely check out all the hit points, because I'm assuming that all the hit point scores are fully taken off your hit points, but on your location they only go down to 0. You can't go negative on it. So the fact that we've done 7 hit points of damage and only 5 was available in that left leg, I'm assuming that doesn't restrict it to 5 as being the reduction on the hit points. I'd have to check. I think that's the only thing that I've got a bit of a concern about. But yeah, that's something that I could probably clarify for the next session. Okay, good. So that's the drills done. Let's get back to what they think of this. So, conclusion. Having completed all of the drills and catching their wins, they are led up to the Guildmaster's room once more. So they go, "Whoa, that was really hard work." They're going, "Barntar, you did a great job. That was an amazing, your first swing of your broadsword. You really are way up in our admiration. And Ulvar, my goodness, your show of weapon skill, it was first class. That first parry that you did very skillfully, protecting your leg, and then whoop, you got his sword arm, just almost lopped it off. My goodness, you're on fire." So we're kind of basking in our glory. The stern face of Harkin maybe just brings us back down to earth. He says, "You faced many trials today, and I am pleased with how you have dealt with the challenges placed before you. I can now welcome you into the Adventurers Guild and brief you on your first mission." Okay, so we have passed the test. He is very pleased with us. I think as overall, the Adventurers Guild, people that were watching on, have thought, well, they are good candidates. We're not letting anybody in. We're keeping the standards up. Everyone seems to be, it's a win-win situation for everyone. So this scenario, this mini campaign, this Apple Lane analog is called The Shadow over Silverford. And he says, "You are to travel to Silverford. It's a secluded village nestled in a valley at the edge of the foothills, off the major roads, and a good 15 leagues beyond Dorwaith. It's a place where life moves at the rhythm of the seasons, where the earth and sky are worshipped, and where the community relies on its own strength and ancient traditions. The village is surrounded by an ancient wood and bordered by the waters of the Silver Stream, which feeds their vital mill. Ancient burial mounds dot the landscape, silent sentinels of past generations." So he's conjuring up this image of not exactly rural, an idyllic rural picture, but someone that is quite isolated. It's quite mysterious. So maybe some old world impacts of the ancient burial mounds. Maybe some shadowy things going on. That just from the tone of his voice, it doesn't sound plain sailing. And this is the sting. But something is stirring in the quiet corners of this valley. The guild has received disturbing whispers, tales of livestock falling ill with no discernible cause, crops blighting prematurely, and the woods growing unnaturally silent. Oh dear. The villagers themselves are reporting increasingly aggressive encounters with wild animals. That's very strange. And a chilling sense of dread has settled over the valley like a cold fog. Oh no, what could this be? To make matters worse, oh come on, surely not, a more immediate and pressing threat has seen some desperate bandits and outlaws taking residence in a cave system within the foothills. My goodness, this poor village. It seems to be utterly beleaguered by strange supernatural events and more earthly things. You know, this bandit threat, awful, cursed bandits. The subtle signs point to one insidious conclusion: chaos and its creeping corruption. Silverford now stands vulnerable, its isolation a target for the encroaching darkness and banditry. Your mission is to help the village find reasons for these strange events and counter the suspected chaos and confirmed outlaw threat. And we go, hearken, we are with you. This sounds like a job, a great first assignment that you can give to us. We will do our duty. And he says that is exactly what I wanted to hear. So the characters, they're going to be given some further background at the start of the next session. But hopefully this should give a flavour of what lies in store and the threats and dangers they face. So what I'm saying is I'm going to give a full briefing and probably just some of the success criteria that they're looking for. And then we're going to get our characters ready to go off to this village, Silverford. We're going to do our travelling across land, the 15 leagues to get there. And for kilometres, I'm going to just call it leagues. Kilometres doesn't really. I suppose to an American audience, you know, you're going on kilometres. You know, that's something European. We went metric back in I think early 70s. You know, that's what I learned at school. I learned meters. I didn't learn the imperial system. So it's but you know, strangely enough, our road system, we still use miles for the measurement of between like places and stuff. So you know, I'm just gonna I'll just call it leagues. League sounds a bit more fantasy. So what we're gonna do next time is we're gonna kick the mini campaign off. I'm gonna tighten up on all my rulings and get fully up to speed. But hopefully that showed you just you know, it was quite a vanilla view of the combat system. When you're getting a lot of moving parts in it, it becomes quite dynamic, and particularly we almost got a hint of some of the more interesting features. The fact that you have the hit location, and the catastrophic damage that some of these things can cause, and the fact that individuals can become incapacitated or helpless. Or lying on the floor, and they're suddenly at a disadvantage, and then that's where the whole dynamic can just change on a coin. You know, 1 minute, you know, on the face of it, when we were looking at these combats, it looked as though, for our second one, it looked as though Barntar was quite outmatched, but he got a hit in right at the start, and that just took Trantor out. You know, he probably could have kept on fighting if that had been real life. You know, it had been, you know, actually in battle, he would have probably kept on trying to fight, and there was a chance that maybe he could have still kept Barntar off, but he would have been at a very significant disadvantage because there's plus 20% on his attack, and he gets a half to attack, and he can't even move. So you know, it would have been quite you know, what's to stop Barntar just moving away and then getting some missile out and just firing it? Apart from the fact that he's a noble and he wouldn't do something like that. He'd rather just get stuck in and finish him off with his broadsword. Okay, well that's good. I enjoyed that. Hopefully you did too. As I said, I'm just going to clarify some of the rulings that were made, but hopefully that gave you a reasonably good overview of combat and the possibilities it opens going down the line. And also you might be tantalized by the fact that our adventurers are they're on the team now. They are accepted, you know, they've passed all the tests, quite a lot of other things, trials and tribulations they had to do too to prove their mettle, and now they're actually going to do the hard delivery for the Adventurers Guild and go out on a mission, which should really expand our horizons of the setting. And we'll get to know more of the cults, we'll get to know more of the personalities. I'll get my Skald coming out and giving us a bit more world lore at times. And we can almost like imagine him frolicking along beside our party, doing that like a bit of like a Monty Python thing in the Holy Grail, where that chap, the troubadour, was always singing about Sir, what's his name, saying he was useless and awful and whatever. He's not going to be quite the same as that. He's going to be a bit more of a serious Skald, but he might be doing a bit of interluding occasionally as we go along. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you next time.